when you're growing your own meat, unfortunately, sometimes you're going to have injuries that you just cannot avoid. This girl happened to get caught underneath the tractor and she broke her leg. So harvest day is Saturday. I don't think she'll probably make it until then. I'm going to show you guys how I dispatch a bird, especially if they've been fed in the past 24 hours. I'm just going to show you where on the neck that you're going to cut and how to process this bird without eviscerating. So we're basically going to part this chicken out. Just know that I will probably blur out once I make that cut, just for YouTube's monetization policies. But thank you, girl. Let's get on to the hard part. Let me also state that this is going to be if you didn't want to bring out your entire plucking machine, or if you just did a few birds here and there and you didn't mind losing the skin of the bird. We will be peeling the skin and just parting out. So thank you, sweetheart. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it up here in this cone, and I'll show you the next part. So basically I reach around, grab the feet, cup the wings, bring them up and in, and I reach through for the head. I'm going to bring you a little closer. So her head is sticking through. What you want to do is you want to split feathers here. And always split those feathers. You're looking for a blue vein. If you can hit a blue vein here and on the other side, that's going to be the best, most swift kill. Always thank them for their service. Thank you, sweetheart. And I'm going to make the cut, and it's going to blur out for you guys. So, thank you. Always cut harder than you think you need to. I go ahead and reach in there. And of course, she's smaller, so her wings pulling through. I always reach up, put my hand in the top area, and just hold them when they go into the thralls. They go into the death thralls pretty quickly. So you'll feel when they stop kicking that there's no more life in them. They sort of limp up after the thralls stop. So we're staying with her. This is an intimate process. That is 100% sure. To raise a chick from day old until it meets its maker, which is you, unfortunately. Thank you, girl. Thank you. I always appreciated my food growing up, but since I started farming, I have an extremely newfound appreciation for my food. So she's almost gone. There's still a couple of involuntary spasms, but she is basically there. Thank you guys for sticking around in this blurred part. I do appreciate you. Once she stops kicking, I'm going to get right back to you guys, and we will start the parting out process. So I've already taken off the head, but what we're going to do is we're going to be peeling today. So basically we're going to be opening up that skin, peeling it back off. So cut for the valleys, not the peaks. You're looking for that spot that you're able to push in on for the tendon there, and you're able to disconnect these joints right like that. You'll actually see like that little hump just like that right there. You could feel it too. So you're going to cut down into it and sort of work your knife around those joints. You do not want to cut the actual cartilage because it's going to be dulling your knife out. So what I do is I pull up on the skin, the breast skin, and I just cut like that. So now we're going to go ahead and peel this basically like a sock. So it's going to peel up right off. And we'll have a hose handy for when we need to wash off any feathers that might come with it. But you're basically going ahead and peeling everything from that skin off. You could reach in here and disconnect the esophagus, pull that up and out. And obviously we can't do multiple takes on this, so you can see right here where there's the contusion. That's the broken leg that she had. So we're probably going to give that portion to the dog it's not going to hurt anything because it just broke today. Let me go ahead and rinse that down a little bit. I know YouTube doesn't like that color. So, and the reason that we're doing it like this is because she ate within the past 24 hours. So, in order to avoid any manure that comes out during evisceration, we are going to work around that by just peeling the skin and going with a skinless bird. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm pulling up and I'm tucking my hand in between the skin and the meat and just working it down. Once you get up to the wings, you're basically going to have to reach in there and sort of, you'll have to feel it out, but you're going to sort of have to just peel that wing skin off, which is going to be much harder to do than anticipated. So I'm probably going to just be putting these wings to good use for the dog as well. Make some chop with it, because they are always the most difficult part to peel skin. As you can see, it's giving me some real trouble peeling off of there. But if you keep on working it, you could even probably use your knife a little bit here. Just make sure you have a sharp knife. When people ask what kind of knife is that, I always tell them it's a sharp one, because a dull knife is a dangerous knife. So we do have, I'll just take that and pull that wingtip off of there, just like so. Toss that over to the bait pile, I guess. So once we peel to the spine, that's basically where we need that bird. We're going to go ahead and spin her around, do the same thing on the other side. So we're just peeling, working that skin back and away. Work it up over that other wing. Hopefully this side comes off a little bit smoother. What we're going to do is we're going to help it out just a little bit. We're going to cut in here like that. Now, I will suggest to you, don't talk while you're processing a bird, because you're going to catch chicken juice in your mouth. So, do as I say, not as I do, you know? You know how it is? She is a beautiful looking bird, though, I'll tell you. But either way, what we're going to do now, we'll work with that wing in just a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop the hips right out of the sockets back here. You could see that. See, the bone just comes right through the joint. And now you're going to take your knife. I usually hold the bird up by the leg. You're going to cut down like this. What you're going to want to do is you're going to sort of get into here in the back area. There's something what they call the oyster. And then same thing on this side. You could spin your bird around and just follow that fat line right like that. Make sure you use the bony knife. Just try to stay up as close to the carcass as possible. And then just work around that joint there. And right in a second, we're going to have a beautiful leg and thigh combo right there. We can hold her up by our wing and just cut, find that joint. Boom. We have a wing right there. We're going to give the wings to the dog probably. So on the other side, holding her up by our wing, and you're basically looking for these little fat lines. I hope you guys are able to make that out. You'll be able to see the fat lines, and usually that's where the joints are. Usually, unless you have a weird bird. And you just cut through that joint, and you have another wing right there. So same thing on this side, following along that fat line. Let me show you up close. Hopefully you can see it right there. There's that fat line. Goes back this way, starts over here. So the oyster is right in this pocket. So again, start at that fat line, keeping your knife close to the carcass. If you need to adjust up, you're more than welcome to. And also, if you were going to use this carcass, for a stock. Having a little meat on it is not going to be the end of the world. Following that fat line there, you can see the fat line right in there near my knife, hopefully. Another beautiful leg and thigh. So now for the breasts, all we're going to be doing with that, same thing. I like to start from the bottom going up towards the breastbone or the keel bone. So again, you see this fat line right here. That's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be following it nice and slowly while trying to stay on top of the breastplate the best we can. And just what I do is I slice a little at a time, and then I get my fingers in there and I peel. If you see any tendons or anything, try to cut around them. We feed our birds organic, so honestly the amount of fat and or like silver skin is very minimal. It's actually pretty amazing. So just keep on working that, and you'll eventually get to your keel bone, and right like that you have a beautiful chicken breast. Flip the bird over. We're going to do the same thing on this side now. So there's that fat line right there. I'm going to walk to the other side of the table just to show you. Hopefully I could get it a little bit nicer on camera for you. So, oh, hold on a second. Let me rinse everything down. Rinse our station, guys. I have to try to avoid a certain color on here. So again, there is that fat line going right down there. Hoping you see it, because my overexposure warnings are on, so I can't really tell too good on the camera screen. So we're going to go ahead, slowly cut into that fat line and just follow it down. When you get over here, the breastbone sort of do open up. Just keep that in mind. So if you were to keep cutting this way, you're going to be on the inside of their rib area, and you can contact organs which could possibly open up and then contaminate your meat or taint it a little bit. So just keep working that keel bone, and then just like that, we've got the carcass that we could open up and eviscerate for stock purposes. So we have 1, 2 beautiful breasts right there, 1 leg thigh combo, another leg thigh combo, a wing that we sort of mutilated, and the other wing that we just have to pluck these feathers off of for the dog. But hopefully you guys learned something on how to eviscerate a chicken. And it's such a shame when you lose a chicken slightly early, but instead of her going to waste and dying from an infection, we're at least able to utilize her. We're going to put her carcass out for any predators that might want an easy meal. Hopefully it persuades the predator gods from coming in here and actually taking any of our other birds. Well, I never like to waste anything on farm, guys, and the reason we processed her early, didn't want to risk it for her not to make it until the Saturday. So we're gonna cut our video here. Hope you guys learned something. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you sub if you've made it this far, and wherever you guys are, have a good morning, afternoon, or evening. Catch you on the next one. And again, thank you, girl. Take care, guys.